Joining us this week for Fightin' Words is CES MMA COO Jimmy Burchfield Jr. A lot of letters, but a lot of fun too, right? Getting back into the ring and finally getting some fights together. Obviously, you know, for months you've been out of the ring, but now getting back into the octagon must be a good feeling.
It was awesome. It was a great sense of accomplishment. Could not have done it without a lot of people, specifically the team that's CES. We've got some great teams, players on our team, and we were lucky to get it done.
Yeah, what did it take to get back up and running? Obviously, a lot of planning went into it. Could you shed some light on that?
Yeah, so it was interesting because we had to identify what issues we had to deal with that we never had to deal with before, and one of them obviously was the safety protocol involved with COVID, and then secondly was the budget implications as a result of not having ticket sales and some sponsorship implications. Getting through the safety protocols, we're very fortunate. We have some good working relationships with the commissioner at Mohegan Sun, the commissioner in California. Those two locations have been doing events on a regular basis. So we were able to kind of pick their brains and put together a safety plan and present that to the commission in the state of Rhode Island. And then we had to kind of run the numbers and see if we were going to be able to put on an event. And the only way we could have done that is with the relationship we have with UFC Fight Pass. And because of the relationship we have with them, they were able to assist us in finding a date that made sense, helped us with a licensing fee. And then having those things in place, we had to go to the fighters and find out if these guys were willing to fight for basically a reduced purse, just because of the lack of revenue that was available.
As far as the event itself is concerned, CES 61, the main card between New Hampshire's Nick Alley and undefeated John Gotti, the third out of New York, didn't disappoint. Would you say that was the fight of the night in your opinion?
That was that fight. I think that fight lived up to its hype. I think that Nick Alley performed extremely well. That was a really, really impressive performance. He was prepared, and he performed and executed as well as he could have. Compliments to him. But there were several fights. Just the Akim versus Matino fight. That fight, for anybody that understands the sport, knows those are two really skilled guys, and those guys went to war. That was an unbelievable fight as well.
The event had some knockouts, one really big knockout making its way around social media. There was a submission finish. I mean, what would you say was the moment of the night? If I had to pin you down for, no pun intended, one moment of the night, what would it be? I think the moment of the night was the fact that we got to do it, right? I think that was a big issue in the community, that we were the first promotion to be able to get an event off in the last 8 or 9 months. That was a big deal, and I'm hoping this is the first of many. But as far as who fought on that card and the result of that card, there's a guy that's been around for a long time, Tyler King, and unfortunately, he's the guy that got knocked out last night by Jamel Jones. That was a vicious knockout. I'm happy to report that Tyler's safe. I had a great conversation with him after the fight. But Jamel Jones is a stud, and remember that name because he's going to go places in the sport. Yeah, and we know guys like him and others are trying to fight their way to the top of the MMA world, and of course that would be UFC. From this card, who do you think is next to earn a contract from Dana White, if you want to go there?
Nick Alley's performance was pretty impressive. He's definitely on the radar. I think Chris Matino's performance was really impressive. And there's a young guy, I think he just turned 22, Mitch Raposa from Fall River, who's an absolute stud, who's right there.
All right, Jimmy Burchfield Jr., thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations, finally getting back in there and having a successful event.